Welcome to my final installment of the DIY Tile a Shower Wall. Today, we're going to grout, we are going to caulk around some of the edges, we're going to seal it, and we're done. So let's get to it. This is Jeff with Jeff Reviews for You. My channel is dedicated to reviewing mostly as seen on TV items. I look at some consumer gadgets, other household items. Once in a while, like this, I do a little bit of a DIY just because I like to. If that interests you, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and click the bell below so you're notified every time I release a video just like this one. One more thing, don't forget to check down the description where you can see my social medias, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I would love it if you would follow me there too. Just a couple of tips. One, I have a drop cloth or a bag because it does get messy. I also use a plaster trowel because it's really difficult for me to work out of the bucket. This is a pre-made mix. You just need to move quickly and get it done. Let's go look at that now. All right, so get a healthy amount on there and I just get it into the seams. Now you're gonna get lots of drops and that's okay. You're just trying to get it into the seams as best as you can. Moving it around, forcing it in there, and then you wipe it off there because it is a rubber trowel. But this is pretty much all you do, moving up and down this line to make sure all these things get covered. And it's okay that things drop. Remember, we have our plastic drop there. All right, let's keep working up this line. So this is a clean as you go type of process. You work 5-10 minutes, then you get your sponge out and start cleaning off the tiles. You might notice that some of them are a little more difficult to clean. So you get one of these sponges with a white scouring pad, you can clean them off, making sure your grout lines look good afterward. But just go clean up your wall after you're done. So what I do with my sponge is I'll get it really wet and I'll just wipe for a little bit, getting the excess mortar off, rinse it off, go again, rinse it off, go again. Take small steps as I go across. I'll eventually come back and do a final wipe through and such, but this way I know that there's not going to be any of the sand on these stones here. In about an hour after I did this the first time, I'm going to come back and re-wipe the wall down, but I want to give my grout lines a chance to thoroughly dry before I come back. But in the end, it looks pretty decent so far. I got to finish this upper part of the wall now. So it's getting there and it's very exciting, but I wanted to bring you in on a few things here, okay? So I'm actually cutting these pieces here, and all I have is this, it's just like a 1x4, but this is made out of PVC, so it's plastic. And so all I'm doing here is I'm mitering the ends here, butting them together, and I started this nail here. I know it's going in and out of focus. That's gonna connect the two over. And then here, this is how I do my caulk lines, only because it's the gray color. I found that this caulk, I think it might have sand in it, so it's hard to apply. So that's why I've taped off my lines. That way I get a nice even bead going across. So I'm gonna walk you through this line specifically. But right now, let's go cut this PVC that I have here and get it ready to go up right up there. Almost there. All right, so I have that camera pretty low and it's facing up. I know it makes me look like a giant, but this is about a tile higher than me. And of course you can see where the shower head sits. So what I've done here is I cut this PVC into a 45 and it's gonna meet up here. I like that I pre-drill or pre-hammer in these nails just because that means I'm not fiddling with something up there. I did cut around right here for the water line. So let me show you right how it comes in. It meets up real nice. I actually just have it butting up against here, but I'm going to fill that with caulking. Let me show you this. If you don't have one of these, this is called an automatic hammer. You need to get one. Watch this. What? I just nailed that right in. All right, so what I do there is I get it in to a point where I can eventually nail that in to the side. And that saves me from hammering. It just saves a whole lot. All right, that's pretty much what I did all the way around. I will fill this in with like white caulking. This will be all gray. And so next what we're gonna do is we're gonna go on over here and I'm gonna show you what I do there. All right, I've always prided myself that I was pretty good at putting caulking on until I met this stuff. This is actually a lot more difficult to apply than standard caulking. White caulking, I just go up, put it on, it looks great. This stuff, I don't know if it has sand in it, but it makes it look different. All right, so what I did here is I taped this line off that you can see. I try to get it as level or the same show all the way down. So I'm going to show you real quick what I've been doing. I put a nail in here to keep the stuff fresh. Let me pull that out. All right. I have a wet paper towel right here. Make sure this stuff comes out. There it goes. I'm actually going to start from down here and make my way down, trying to get a smooth bead, watching each time the tile groove or the tile mortar line or grout line, comes in, making sure I'm careful there. Let's do this. All right, I'm coming to a spot where the grout line is. Go slow. I'm just trying to get it between the tile and that wood right there. And I'm going to smooth it out in just a second. I want to make sure I get every space. All right, so now that I have that ready, I'm gonna put my nail back in just so the stuff doesn't come out. And I tend to smooth it out. This stuff is nasty, so you gotta act quickly and then clean it off quickly. So I ended up making sure my finger's wet. Remember how I told you this paper towel's wet? This is what I normally do as an application. I'll start down here since I have more product. And I'm just gonna wipe it down so I'm sort of making sure it goes in the groove. I'm gonna wipe off all excess and keep going. If I see a gap, I take some of the excess from my finger and I go back and fill it in as I'm going. Like right here, you probably can't see that, but I just make sure I fill in all the piece. Come back from the other side. And so now what I'm gonna have in the end here is a real tight caulk line. I like that it's the same color as the actual grout. What I'm gonna do, I'll let that sit for probably 5 minutes, no more, and then I peel the tape off. I'll bring you back for that. All right, so in the 5 minutes that I've been waiting for this to dry, I actually went and taped this line. It does not take a whole lot. Now remember, this is not really for like water protection or to prevent moisture from getting there, even though it does that. For me, this is more about the look, right? Because I have these nice grout lines. I wanted to have a nice gray line going across the top. When you take this tape off, go very slow. I do not just take it and pull because I want to make sure I don't disrupt this too much. Now you're going to have some pull or whatever. After about an hour, this stuff turns into like a putty feel, and then you can sort of like maneuver it, okay? So I just take my tape up. I'm going to go real slow, remember. I'm just going to keep pulling like this because I don't want to make a big mess. What I'm doing is I'm revealing a really nice, clean grout line, or yeah, it looks like a grout line, but it's a caulk line. All right, so there are some spots out here that, like right here, that don't look as good as others, but resist touching that because, like I said, in about an hour, those will turn more rubbery, and I can just scrape that off. But if I touch that right now, I'm just going to smear it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the rest of this tape off, and I'll give you a close-up of what it looks like. All right, so here's that caulk line we just did. It looks really good. Now, there's some spots here. I want you to resist at touching that right now. In about 30 minutes, you can wipe that down. But see how clean the line looks? Here, we'll clean up a little bit with a razor blade at the end. That's just where I glooped over. And that's okay. I'm going to wait for that to dry. I'm going to cut it off. But it looks really good from this direction. All right, so now we're going to use our grout sealer. This one happens to be a spray out of the top. It's important to do this in a well-ventilated area. And really what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spray the grout lines and then up and down, horizontal, all that good stuff. And then once I get the whole wall down, I'm gonna wipe down the excess that's just dripping down. And I'll do this twice, 2 applications, 2 hours in between, and then I'm all done. Let's check this out. Do you get the idea? That's all I do. All right, we're finished. You can see where the seam lines have been caulked. They look decent. Everything else looks good. We are all finished, got the faucet installed. Take a look at the rock, how it looks going through. It all came together pretty nice. Now, I'm gonna put up a curtain rod temporarily because I'm gonna have some doors put in eventually, but that's down the road. Well, that's it. I really do appreciate you hanging around for me on this journey. It seemed to have taken a really long time. At the end there, I talked about putting up a curtain rod, and I'm going to do that temporarily until I can find a door that I like. I do want to put this with some glass doors. I'm kind of looking for the frameless kind, but that shape of the shower pan is going to be proved to be a little more difficult. When I do that, I'll make sure to get it on video. This is Jeff with Jeff Reviews for You. As always, thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a great day. But before you go, if this is the first out of the 4 video series that you've seen, I'm going to link 1, 2, and 3 all the way around so you can catch up on those too. Go ahead, click one of the links, and by the magic of the internet, I will join you at that video.